They will wait. The winner of the wild card game going on Wednesday. That game, the first game, will be at home at Snapdragon at 6:30 on Sunday, October 26th. You hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 716. The NFL, we got a doubleheader tonight. Two really good games. Early slate, 4 o'clock. Bucks, Lions in Detroit. Detroit is currently a 6.5-point favorite. And then the night game, 7 o'clock. Houston on the road in Seattle, taking on the Seahawks. Seattle is currently a 3.5-point favorite, and game 7 of the ALCS gets going tonight live from Toronto. Time is money, and there's no good time for your vehicle to break down. Keep your car and your schedule running smoothly with the West Automotive Group. For the highest quality of customer service and vehicle repair, visit westautomotivegroup.com to book your appointment today.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
It's almost showtime.
This show's great.
I love that show.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
They're just funny. They're really random and off the wall.
Show us what you got. NFL Week 7.
Christian McCaffrey over 200 yards of offense, and the Niners win it 20-10 here at home.
Still want to count them out?
Single on the near side, Conrice, touchdown, Kansas City.
Meanwhile, some other madness.
Kick on the way. It is good. Bronco players celebrating like they just won a home playoff game.
SDFC starts their run to the MLS Cup after taking care of business in Portland.
Anders filters it through Pellegrino. Goal. You know Anders Dreyer was like Jason just waiting to strike.
The Aztecs are back in Mountain West action against Fresno State. Plus,
Okay, Bill, let's hear it.
Jordan Addison, more than 42.5 receiving yards.
Okay, fire me up.
Rasheed Rice, a receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, more than 65.5 receiving yards.
Why do I do this?
Tyron Williams, running back for the Los Angeles Rams, more than 69.5 rush yards.
You know what your problem is. You have no game.
Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz, more than 23 total games.
affirmative. Well, can't win them all. Now, live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios, we enter the Fletch Zone.
Let's get it freaking going on a Monday. What's going on, everybody? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. We got a ton to get to today. Two best words in sports. Game 7 coming up tonight. Blue Jays and Mariners in Toronto. SDFC clinches the top spot in the West. They're going to play this Sunday night at 6:30 at Snapdragon Stadium. We are going to have Tom Penn, the CEO of SDFC, coming up at 12:30 on the show today. Sammy and I survive. We advance.
We're live.
Week 8 of the NFL season is calling our names. We already are looking at picks, but we are still alive for that $18.9 million. I smell it already.
FedEx Trey is already asking how nervous were y'all during the Patriot game.
Not that nervous.
I was very nervous. I was watching the Chiefs.
Watching the score, right? Because you had the Chiefs game.
I had the Chiefs game on, and then I was like, what the hell is going on when I saw Cam Ward throwing bombs in the first quarter? But everything calmed down. Mike Vrabel got it together.
Yeah, I will say the Patriots were outplaying Tennessee even when Tennessee was in the lead. So I was never really that nervous about it, but yeah, it was a little sweaty. 2 good Monday night games tonight. Really good Monday night games. So you take all that and you put it into the blender, and I'm like, all right, where are we going to start today? I did not expect to start with Albert Pujols potentially being the next Padres manager, but I do think that that's where we find ourselves, Sammy, because earlier today it was announced, it was reported that Albert Pujols will not be the next manager for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and that the Padres and Orioles are still in on him to be their next manager. And then I think about it, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Albert Pujols potentially being the manager, one of the best baseball players to ever walk the face of the earth, to potentially be the next manager. But then I started thinking, can Albert Pujols be a Major League Baseball manager? Like, what are the skills that require it? And is that even a good fit for the Padres? And does he have any sort of experience in this whatsoever? And the answer for most of that's no, but it'd just be a huge risk.
I was thinking on the way in, because I saw the report this morning. It's a splashy name that obviously will draw some not only local headlines, but
it's not like the Padres need to sell seats.
Well, that's the interesting thing. So it'll make a lot of headway nationally. People are going to go, wow, Albert Pujols is managing. Not going to lie, it's a little odd to me that the team that everyone rumored he was going to be going to, the Angels he was interviewing with, he's not going. So it's Baltimore and San Diego. Those are the two teams remaining. It's odd to me that the team that knows more about him than anyone in the league kind of passed on him. Now, if I'm looking on the positive side, if they do hire Albert Pujols, I do think Albert Pujols is a guy who, Tatis and Machado, like, he's going to walk in and he's going to have the utmost respect of everyone in that locker room.
For sure, Fernando Tatis Jr. grew up idolizing Albert Pujols.
And this is a guy that, trust me, when they're not hitting, like, I feel like Albert Pujols, but here's the thing with player coaches. We can look at the Lakers with this. There's something to be said that there's a lot of respect among the players, and JJ Redick was like this with the Lakers, but are they going to lay the law down? Like JJ Redick actually took that over the top, and JJ Redick has made some serious coaching errors, especially
kind of seems like a jerk.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a.
He's kind of holding true to what everyone thought of him while he was at Duke.
And so he kind of took it the other way. Like, I'm going to make sure that I have the respect of the players. I wonder how Albert Pujols will be like that in the locker room with the Padres, especially after all this Mike Schill and the coaches. He was mean to me. I mean, just a lot of weird stuff going on. It's an interesting hire. I wonder if this is like a cheap, splashy hire, because the splashiest hire is Bruce Bochy, and that's not going to happen.
I can't imagine Pujols would be that cheap. Like I just the name value alone adds something to it. I don't know. Kind of bizarre. Like I remember last week when we first saw it pop up that the Padres were interested. I was thinking, oh, this is the AJ Preller special. Make sure you're in on everything, so your name is being thrown around on everything. But now that it's feeling a little more real, I'm curious what Padre fans think about it. Hit us up on the text line 70470. Start your message with team, or as always, the talkback mic is open. Download the free iHeartRadio app. Listen to San Diego Sports 760. Find that little red microphone icon. It's up in the top right-hand corner. Leave us up to 30 seconds of a talkback. We will play those back later in the show today. All right, if you're new to the show, every day, every hour, we do something called the Big Three, where Sammy Long rips through the top stories in the world of sports, go through them quickly, get some opinion on it, and get you ready for that water cooler after you get off your lunch break. Sammy, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
All right, if you want to watch the show, a couple ways for you to do it. On YouTube, at San Diego Sports 760. On X, at Fletch and Sammy. You can find us there. Sammy, I wore a sweatshirt today. First time of the year.
Dude,
sweater weather out.
So Fletch is all cozy over there. I walk in the studio this morning like an hour ago, and I am freezing, like shivering. Like I don't know.
We can all tell your shirt's standing like 3 inches off.
You got to show it off. You know what I mean? All right, let's go to the NFL. So I mean, one of the biggest collapses, not only of this year, but of one of the biggest collapses in a game I've seen watching, and I've watched the NFL a long time. So the Giants absolutely collapsed, blow a 19-point lead in the fourth quarter against the Denver Broncos. Who is most to blame for the collapse? Brian Daboll, Jackson Dart, the defense,
don't even need
or
to
the Giants
going.
kicker?
It's Brian Daboll. The Giants kicker has a lot to do with it too. 2 missed extra points in that game?
Extra points. They lost by 1.
It is 100% Brian Daboll. I cannot believe how poorly managed the clock was at the end of the game. I cannot believe some decisions to throw for it. I also cannot believe how many times they attempted to go for 2 when they did not need to go for 2. It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. If I'm Brian Daboll, I'm worried about my job this morning, not just worried about what's happening next week. And look, maybe I wouldn't be so upset about it. However, there was like 500 people on the Denver Broncos in Circa Survivor. 500 other people who are trying to be like me and Sammy to be millionaires. And the Giants had that win, man. They were about to lop off a fifth of the field, and they couldn't get it done. That was embarrassing by the Giants. The clock management was awful.
There is blame. I'm not blaming Jackson Dart. I know he threw the bad pick.
Me neither. Jackson Dart was incredible.
He was excellent. And the fact that he even led them back down the field. I know there was the questionable pass interference call, but yes, Denver fans, it was pass interference. So I'm not blaming Jackson Dart. Obviously, the kicker missed 2 missed extra points is a big deal. But Brian Daboll, dude, I mean, let's go back before the 2 final scores. They have a chance. All they got to do is get a first down. 2 first downs and the game's over. They're going to run the clock out. And he runs up the middle again, and then tries a 40-yard bomb down the sideline to Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, the Denver defense is one of the best in the NFL. That just feels like you're playing to lose when you had been playing to win all game. And then you go get the score with 40 seconds to go, and you play a shell defense, and you rush 3. You rush 3 guys. Any quarterback in the NFL, I don't care who it is, and Bo Nix, who's I don't think a great player, but he's a decent player, is going to be able to pick you apart when you're just sitting in the seams. I don't understand the whole playing back thing. This whole Giants team is founded on pass rush. Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence. I mean, this is what their calling card is, and you don't use it at the end of the game, and then this is what comes back to bite you at the end. That was an all-time collapse, and the New York Giants, although they're very fun, and I think they're going to be good in years to come, and even surprise some people down the stretch, that's a devastating loss.
There was a quote, I think it was from Kayvon Thibodeau, who said, or not, it was Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter said it after the game, that we did not or the Broncos did not win that game. We gave them that game.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it was.
100%.
100% on the Giants.
They were done. That game was over, and they let them back into it.
Who's next?
All right, well, we're still going to the NFL. So who has the best offense in the NFL? The Chiefs, who beat the Raiders by 31 yesterday. The Cowboys.
Look at this. All of a sudden, the Chiefs stack a couple good weeks, and here comes Sammy the Peacock.
It's almost like I told everyone. Cowboys hanging 44 on the Commanders. The Bucks, who will be playing tonight against Detroit, but has been one of the best offenses of the year, or the Detroit Lions, or other, I guess.
I would probably say it's Detroit until proven otherwise. I almost have to take Dallas out of this conversation because they're so awful on the other side of the football. Now, yesterday was a little bit better, but Jaden Daniels got hurt. I don't know how seriously you can take that. But the Cowboys, until they can prove that they can stop somebody, it's like game plan forces their offense to be as good as it is, although it is very good. And Javonte Williams was fantastic for them yesterday. But you look at the Chiefs, the Lions, I would probably have them as 1A, 1B right now, and you could argue it either way. The Chiefs still just don't have a run game. The Lions have a consistent option in the run game that you know will be their game in and game out. So give me the Lions. Hell, if the Eagles played like they did yesterday, the Eagles might have the best offense in football.
Not the Packers. The Buccaneers have some of the
Patriots, by the way, have the most efficient offense in football.
Yeah, but
Drake May with one of the best games in NFL history yesterday.
Yeah, but no. The Buccaneers have been missing a lot of guys. They've been like the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been missing receivers. They've been missing receivers. Mike Evans been in and out of the lineup. Chris Godwin Jr. Emeka Egbuka got hurt a week ago. So they deserve a lot of respect. I think the Cowboys passing game is fantastic. What Dak's been able to do with having a number 2 wide receiver with George Pickens, what he has been able to do, and then adding CeeDee Lamb back. I worry about the Dallas run game. Javonte Williams is a decent player, had a good game yesterday, but I don't think he's the answer in the backfield there. The Chiefs are extremely complete. I mean, you saw what happened yesterday when Rashee Rice is back, that the Chiefs were just they were toying with the Raiders. The Raiders literally could not do anything in that game. Rashee Rice, Worthy, Hollywood, Tyquan Thornton, they were all running crossing patterns. You saw Kelsey come alive a little bit there underneath. Yeah, I do worry about the running game a little bit. Pacheco had a better game yesterday. Rashard Smith, the rookie out of SMU, is coming on, but still, I would go get a running back from the Chiefs. The Lions are very good, but I think you do worry, and I like Jared Goff a lot, but you do worry, like, they don't have Frank Ragnow anymore. The offensive line's not quite as good. I guess I'd probably have to give it to the Bucs right now simply because of what they've done the first 6 weeks, but I think my Chiefs here in a few weeks will be the number 1 offense in the league.
All right, you got one more for us?
I do, and get it up here. Yeah.
It's so funny that like 2 weeks of good play from the Chiefs, all of a sudden Sammy is just.
It's almost like they're like playing. It's almost like playing like they're like the best team in the NFL.
You heard that?
Healthy.
My Chiefs.
So we're gonna so let's go to baseball. Shohei Ohtani. Listen, I know the Dodgers aren't popular down here, but Friday, dude has 3 home runs, close out the Brewers, 10 strikeouts. He had more home runs than hits allowed with 2. Where does this rank among MLB playoff performances of all time? And not only MLB, just playoff performances, period, in sports.
It is one of the singular greatest individual accomplishments I've ever seen in sports, period. What he was able to do, striking out 10, 3 home runs. He had more home runs than hits allowed in that game. It was phenomenal. You're not going to find anyone that dislikes the Dodgers more than I dislike the Dodgers. But credit where credit's due. I put that up there with like Michael Phelps' Olympics run. Was that 2008 where he won all the gold medals?
That was, yeah.
I put this up with some of Tiger's dominance in the world of golf. If Shohei keeps doing this year after year after year, A, kiss the NL MVP goodbye for the next, I don't know, however long Shohei plays. B, the Dodgers are probably going to be in this situation a lot more. And C, you're looking at potentially the greatest player in the history of Major League Baseball. One of the greatest, most dominant sporting events ever.
I mean, what he was able to do on Friday, yeah, you're right. I mean, sorry to everyone in the NL because he's going to pitch 100 innings and he's going to be hitting like this. So and the NL MVP is basically just a wash unless he gets hurt.
I used to laugh when people talked about Shohei Ohtani as already being the greatest baseball player of all time. I'm pretty sure he's there.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, what you're able to do Friday, think about Shohei Ohtani. He was awful the whole post. The first game against the Reds, he had 2 home runs. He couldn't hit a baseball in the Phillies series. He had 1 hit. He hits a triple in game 3, and then for that game 4 to have 3 solo home runs, and not only home runs, to outdo the Schwarber one, the nuke over the pavilion, and then 10 strikeouts in that game. Like, what Shohei Ohtani is able to do, that's up there with like Jordan flu game. You mentioned Michael Phelps, Tiger winning the Masters when he came back. I mean, like that is crazy stuff that, I mean, wow. Like just that's a spectacle. And it's crazy the kind of unicorn player he has.
It was amazing. All right, let's squeeze a couple of texts in here. 619, hey Fletch, suck it. Did you see what the soft Ohtani did on Friday? You remember calling him that? I sure do. Ohtani had bigger fish to fry than participating in another dopey machismo battle. But in your feeble mind, he was soft by not charging Ranger Suarez on the mound. No, he's a wise team player who'd rather be available to lead his team to another World Series. Suck it, Fletch. Shall do. 619, the third place Chiefs, Sammy. Settle down, Nick Wrong Jr.
How about the 949? Chiefs dominance return, Sammy. Offense is explosive, definitely the best in the NFL. Strut, Sammy, strut.
God,
shout out to the 949.
Are the worst.
949, and I try to tell everyone, in SoCal Jacob, we try to tell everyone that when the Chiefs got their weapons back, they were going to be lethal.
You beat the Raiders yesterday.
They beat the Lions.
Calm down a little bit.
You called the Lions the best team in the NFL last week.
Offense. And oh my God.
They smoked them too. So, I mean, look out. That's all I'm saying. Look out.
We're all going to need to reset here a little bit.
Hey, where are those Chargers at right now? I don't know.
Disappeared, dude. The Chargers. Woo, they're a rough spot. Coming up next, we're going to tell you what we're giving away on the show today. Coming up right after that, Tom Penn, the CEO of SDFC, is going to be joining the show. Our buddy, who's getting ready for his first postseason matchup as the CEO of SDFC. We'll get his thoughts on how Snapdragon Stadium is going to transform for the postseason. All that still to come. It's San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Gary Cooper at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Call Gary Cooper today at 858-376-1299. Gary, when you're in the home buying process, there's so many different options thrown your way, and people have so many questions about what it means to buy down your interest rate. What should people know before they do something like that?
Well, I tell you what, if you're actually trying to purchase a home, it is a good item to consider. And there's a couple of ways that it can be done, but just so that we're clear, for example, a 2-1 buy down allows buyers to temporarily reduce their interest rate for the first 2 years of the loan, allowing them to save money with reduced initial payments during that time. So yes, for the first 2 years, the first year you'll have a low payment, then it graduates usually a full percentage point the next year, and then the third year graduates to another interest rate, full interest rate, and then thereafter it's the same rate for the rest of the term of the loan. So that's what a 2-1 buy down is. It makes sense, and there's a couple ways you can do it. When you're buying a house, sometimes we, as your realtor, can negotiate the seller to maybe kick in that money to help you buy down the interest rate. Not necessarily you, but the seller, as a concession, can help you buy down the interest rate. So that's one thing to think of when you're buying a house. If you're refinancing, it's not something I recommend, because down the road, we're anticipating that rates may perhaps go down. So why pay that money to buy down a rate when you can possibly get that down the road?
If you have questions about it, call Gary Cooper today, 858-376-1299. That's 858-376-1299, or visit him online at Mountain Trust More. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2:00 today. John and Jim will take over then. I know so many people, Sammy, over the weekend were like, you and Sammy should just do the show 3 hours every single day. Friday was so good. John and Jim are back today.
The boys are back.
It'll be good.
Is Jim still sick or what's up?
That's a great question. I have no idea. Hey, Sammy, this Wednesday night, I'm going to be flying out to Las Vegas to cover the Mountain West Media Days on Thursday for basketball. Talk with Brian Dutcher. Miles Bird is going to be out there. A couple other players. We need to cook up maybe on tomorrow's show or Wednesday's show just a massive futures parlay for this NFL season that is worth enough money to give us an excuse to go back to Vegas.
I love it.
Once it cashes.
I love
which it will cash.
Wait, when do you come back?
I go Wednesday night. I'll be back Thursday night. I'm not missing any show days. I'm doing the show from Vegas.
No, but what time are you leaving Thursday night?
From Vegas?
Yeah.
I think my flight's at like 7.
Damn it. We can't bet Thursday night football.
I know. Well,
we
we
gotta
can
back
bet
that
it.
up, dude.
We can bet it. We just are going to have to go back to Vegas to collect it. You know what I mean?
That's fine. But always excuse for a Vegas trip is going to be okay with me.
Anytime. All right. Today on the show, we do have a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's How Low Scream. If you want to win those, just keep on listening for a little bit. We do have Tom Penn joining the show coming up in 8 minutes, right at 12:30. Yeah. But right now I did want to talk about those Los Angeles Chargers and what happened on Sunday as they kind of get the brakes beat off them by the Indianapolis Colts. 38-24 final score. Chargers really had no answers for anything the Colts were doing offensively. Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor just marching up and down the field. Jonathan Taylor with another 3-touchdown performance as his name continues to skyrocket up. MVP odds for this year. But there's 2 ways to look at this game. A, the Chargers' strength is supposed to be their defense, and they got absolutely dog walked up and down the field. And B, if it wasn't that bad of a game for the Chargers, can we just say the Colts are actually good enough to be a legit contender this year? And when we have that best offense in the NFL conversation, don't the Colts kind of deserve to be on that list?
They should. They should be on that list. And I got to give the Colts a lot of credit because coming into that game, I still was not really believing in it. And I'm not sitting here going that I think that they're winning a Super Bowl, because I think that until you go do something in the playoffs, especially in the NFL, it's tough to really pick that you're going to do a lot. But I mean, you look at their schedule, they play in a weak division, so they do have an inside track to the number 1 seed in the AFC. And Daniel Jones, I mean, kind of back Fletch, you brought up a point last week, I think we got into on Thursday or Friday, about how it's crazy the second stops quarterbacks get to go. Look at Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. I mean, Geno Smith's awful now, but when he went to Seattle, and I mean, and now him, it's like Daniel Jones. Like, it's crazy what happens when you get drafted to a bad team. The Giants only had Saquon Barkley. He had no receivers to throw to. Now he's got Michael Pittman. Now he's got Alec Pierce. Tyler Warren's an absolute stud. Jonathan Taylor's proving himself to everyone why he's one of the best running backs in football.
And every week, Daniel Jones is at 275, 280, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. Like, he's just stuff in the stat sheet every week.
The Colts earned a lot of respect. That was like, you could tell in that game they were pissed off that no one was giving them respect, and they probably would have gotten it had they beaten the Rams and Adonai Mitchell doesn't drop that ball. But doing that to the Chargers, and I mean, I'm just curious how, according to Colin Cowherd, the greatest coach of all time, could get beat by that much in Jim Harbaugh.
All right, well, Salty Sammy strikes again.
No, I'm just asking.
Peacock and Sammy today. We got Salty Sammy. Jim Harbaugh's a very good head coach, but he did get his ass kicked.
Is he the greatest coach of all time?
No, I don't think so. And no one does outside of Colin Cowherd, who I do think gets some special privileges within the Chargers organization. So that's the only thing that it is.
But how are you looking at the Chargers? Because like Herbert's fantastic. Herbert, we know, is an elite quarterback, and that's why they're always going to have a chance because Herbert's elite.
They're 4-3 now.
They started 3-0, and they were the hottest team in the NFL, and everyone was kind of putting them in the AFC Championship game. They're 1-3 since. Their one win was to Miami, who, by the way, that game was close. And if Herbert doesn't shake out of that sack, there's a loss there. I mean, the Chargers, like, the calling card is their defense.
They still have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs.
And they're going to play them again.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to play the Denver Broncos again.
Sure.
So we'll see. But the defense, I mean, listen, I know they're getting Hampton back. I know they're getting Khalil Mack back. I think if I'm the Chargers, you have to get a receiver. Because Ladd McConkey, even though he's a very talented player and he's a good receiver, he's not a number one in outside of the first couple of weeks when Quentin Johnson was kind of going off and Keenan Allen was having a good season. Like, they need a number 2 receiver because I'm sorry, Ladd McConkey being the number 1 option, you're not going into Buffalo or Kansas City or hell, even maybe the Colts in winning. I don't see it happening.
Now the Chargers schedule, it lightens up a little bit because they do take a break from the AFC West for a while here. They got the Vikings next week at SoFi, and then the Titans, Steelers, Jags, Raiders. And then it gets tough again real quick. It's not like it's going to be an easy stretch for the Chargers here. So we'll see. I think you're absolutely right. They need a receiver. They need to get a little healthier, especially on the offensive side of the football. I wouldn't mind seeing them add a tight end to try to help Justin Herbert out a little bit, but the Chargers are in a rough spot, and we all know that. All right, quick break here. On the other side, Tom Penn, the CEO of SDFC, is going to jump on the show. Get you ready for this Sunday at Snapdragon Stadium when SDFC hosts their first ever postseason game. Can't wait for it. Tom Penn joining us next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This was sponsored by the playoff-bound San Diego FC. Speaking of San Diego FC, they will be hosting their first playoff game live from Snapdragon Sunday, October 26th. That game will be going at 6:30. Of course, you can always hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760. We've got a Monday night doubleheader in the NFL. Should be a good one. Bucks traveling to take on the Lions. Lions come off that loss in Kansas City on Sunday Night Football. Detroit is currently favored by 6.5. Point total is set at 53.5. That game gets going at 4 o'clock in Houston. CJ Stroud will take on Sam Darnold in the Seahawks in Seattle at 7 o'clock. Seattle is currently 3.5 point favorite with the point total set at 41.5. San Diego Football Club is headed to the Audi 2025 MLS Cup playoffs. Get tickets now for that round 1 best of 3 series that begins late October at Snapdragon Stadium. It's our time. All in for San Diego.
San Diego Sports 760. We got 13 chances today for you to win $1,000 every single weekday with the bonus bucks giveaway every hour from 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. Listen for the keyword, enter it at sportssd.com. Next chance to win $1,000 coming up at 1 o'clock. Don't go anywhere. Right now, special guest joining the show. We got SDFC CEO Tom Penn jumping on with us. Tom, thank you so much for giving us a call. It's a pleasure to have you as always.
Pleasure to be on. How's it going today?
Well, it's going good. Sam and I have been talking about it, but you got yourself a busy week here coming up. So if we could set the table for you, I'll let you kind of take over. Coming up this Sunday will be the first ever postseason match in the history of SDFC in its record-setting inaugural season, where you are the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. You're awaiting the results of a wild card round. So on Monday at 12:30 until Sunday at 6:30, what does the life of Tom Penn look like?
There's a big smile on my face to start. I mean, just hearing you read that, you should be our hype man. I like that.
I mean, Adrian,
true, right?
Adrian Marquez Gonzalez does a pretty good job at that. So I'll let him take care of the hype. God. But Tom, this is very cool, man. You guys have made San Diego proud this year. It's been fun to watch. Anders Dreyer in the MVP conversation, the number 1 seed in the West. What has it been like for you sitting up in the CEO office, looking down and seeing how this is all unfolded?
Super fun. I don't have an office. I only have a desk. That's true. But it's been really, really cool riding this wave with everybody. We just got rolling early. We had such a noisy hello moment against the Galaxy way back when. And then we've just been steady and consistent, right? We've been in it. We were kind of the talk of the league, and then we had a little dip, and then we were back, and then we had a little dip at the end, and everybody wrote us off, and then we just kept going. And lo and behold, it sort of fell our way with Vancouver losing. And it just feels a little different, a little more splash on the fact that we finished as the number 1 seed, first in the West. Such a huge accomplishment, combined with then now the hope and the promise of the playoffs, because that means we're home until the final, the Cup. And depending on who comes out of the Cup of the East, we could be home for that. So it's great.
Can you speak to that? We talk about how everyone's kind of been even nationally pulling for SDFC, but it feels like people weren't really believing that they were a legit contender, and now they are the number 1 seed. Do you think the team plays with kind of a chip on their shoulder because of that?
I don't think it matters to our guys. Our guys are so committed to just the way we play. Mikey said it the other day, because nothing changes. We're just going to go out and play the way we play, which is that ball dominant, high pressure, high control game where you see what happens if we score early, it dramatically changes, right? If we score early, then the other team needs to open up and try to get even. And that's when we can really try to punish teams. But we've been on the other side of this where it's really difficult to score and you get in those tense 0-0 games. And I think teams will be incentivized to play for the penalty kicks, because in this first round, it's the best 2 out of 3 and you play 90 minutes. And if it's tied, you go to penalty kicks where anything can happen. And there's no aggregate score. So you can win your first game 4-0. And then, in fact, that happened to somebody last year, 5-0. And then they lost on penalties 2 in a row and they were out. So it's a bit of a wild sequence coming. But being home and having, the swagger that we have and a little bit of confidence right now is helpful.
Tom Penn, CEO of SDFC, joining us here on San Diego Sports 760. Tom, you guys have done a really great job with promotions throughout the year. Obviously, it's a little bit of a show every time you're at home with the fireworks and with the ball at the beginning of the game, the Chrome and Azul ball. But anything special planned for the postseason, being that the first game is at home this Sunday at 6:30?
Yeah, we're working out the details now. We didn't know the time, so that 6:30 window is right on the twilight edge. Can you do flyovers? Can you do other things? Sometimes the rules restrict it, but we're trying to sort that out. I was just in a meeting on that. We're going to have a really cool keeper of the flow that we'll announce later in the week, and then just the historic hype around the game. The supporters are going to be roaring. The whole place is going to be rocking. We're giving 25,000 scarves out to the first 25,000 through the gate, free. So we'll have a lot of scarves waving and scarves up. And I think the atmosphere, it'll be really cool to see how our audience decides to behave, now that it's playoff time. It's pretty well understood at the Padres how it all works. But this will be our first time. So new traditions will be born and new level of intensity. And then we're hopeful we can have a nice run here in the playoffs.
Obviously, hypothetical, you guys are either playing Salt Lake or Portland. You guys coming, off that 4-0 beatdown of Portland. How would that be if you guys are how do you approach it differently if you could possibly be playing the same team 4 straight times?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? That's happened with a couple of other teams, like Miami's playing Nashville. They just played. Dallas and Vancouver are having a rematch. In our case, if it ends up being Portland, there's obviously familiarity, both in terms of who you play on the pitch, but then what the routine is, having just been there. We'd likely go back to the same hotel. It'll feel very similar. That's a double-edged sword, right? Sometimes you can get comfortable, or especially if the other team's angry and wants to get back at you. They play this game on Wednesday, and that'll decide who comes to us on Sunday. So at least we're home first. And then, there's difference in where you travel. Do you prefer kind of the rain of Portland and that cool downtown atmosphere? Or do you want to go to the altitude and the potential cold in Salt Lake City? That factors in too, beyond just sort of how each team is playing.
Tom Penn, CEO of SDFC, joining us today. The first postseason match will be on Sunday at 6:30. Tickets are available at sandiegofc.com. You can find them there. Tom, you kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but for the new soccer fans here in San Diego who've maybe watched postseason sports in other worlds like hockey, the entire vibe changes when you get to the postseason. Same thing with baseball, same thing with football. How does it change in the world of the MLS and soccer in general once you get to the postseason?
Well, the most common complaint about soccer from those who don't understand it, and I used to be this person, is there isn't enough scoring. There just aren't enough goals, right? We all hear that. Sometimes we felt that. But that's what puts you on the edge of your freaking seat the whole game. And when that goal happens, I was in the NBA for years. I equate like a normal soccer goal to like a game-winning three-pointer. It's just so thrilling when it happens and how it happens. And then 1-0 isn't enough, right? You've got to get the second. It's so fragile. Things could change in a heartbeat. You look at what happened to Vancouver. Their guy gets a red card in the 10th, 11th minute, and it flips that game on its head to where they get upset. So in these single elimination scenarios, it's very challenging for favored teams to win. So you're on a knife's edge the whole time, and then it's really thrilling when you get the result.
All right, Tom, we'll get you out of here, but what message would you like to send San Diego ahead of Sunday's matchup?
It's history. It's just a historic week. It's a lot like our first match ever. This is our first playoff match ever. And we need to build momentum, and it's us against everybody, right? So we're in it to win it. We're going to take them one at a time. And the first one is Sunday at 6:30. Get there early, get that free scarf, and let's go.
SanDiegoFC.com. That's where you purchase tickets. Still some available. I'm seeing for around $60. Those are going to go quick. I can promise you that. Tom Penn, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you, man. You've been with us all season long, and hopefully we get to talk to you a few more times before the season's over, because that would mean the season lasts multiple more weeks. Appreciate your time.
Agreed. Thanks. See you later, guys.
All right. Tom Penn, CEO of SDFC, the 1 seed in the West, heading into the postseason. Sunday, 6:30 is the first matchup. Of course, you're going to hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760 with Adrian Garcia Marquez. It's going to be a lot of fun. How about his call, by the way, the Friday the 13th call?
Yeah.
Did you hear that on the Anders Dreyer goal?
That was fantastic. Dude, Sunday is going to be electric. I mean, this is like, it's so cool. Kind of, we were talking about with him about how it's went from, oh, hey, it's cool, San Diego's got a team, to, oh, this is kind of a cool story, they're winning a few games, to, wow, they're like, could legit win the whole thing. They're like second or third in odds right now to do the whole thing. So this is exciting. I mean, what would that mean? What if San Diego's first title comes in SDFC's first season here?
That's what I was going to say.
I mean, that's like
kind of a bad look for everyone else.
I was about to say, I didn't want to say it, but yeah.
Seriously, like, you think about it, man. SDFC, congratulations on what you've done so far. Can't wait to be alongside Tom Penn and the rest of the gang for the postseason this year. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm stoked for Sunday, man.
I mean, you had one postseason kind of end abruptly without a single home game, and the other one is going through your hometown. This is cool. All right, we'll get to long shots on the other side. Sammy, we got a lot to choose from tonight. Two NFL games.
We have a lot to choose from.
Yeah, Game 7 in the MLB postseason.
We have a very fun parlay cooked up for everyone.
Ooh-wee. That's next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760, and keep on listening for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to How Low Scream at SeaWorld San Diego this year. New horrors have awoken. 5 haunted houses, 8 terrifying scare zones, hidden speakeasies, the shrills of coasters after dark every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday now through November 2nd. Halloween fun for the whole family. For a limited time, kids go free with paid adult tickets. Visit SeaWorldSanDiego.com for more information. Sammy, give me a terrified scream. Ah! I love it so much when you do that. Keep on listening for your chance to win. We will give those away in hour number 2. And the text line is asking that we set a time for that giveaway so the people on the app have a little bit more time to make the phone call.
Yeah, Fletch, please be fair to people on the app.
We will do that because we want you to listen on the app. We want you to listen on the app. We want you to watch on YouTube, watch on X. But if you're driving around in your car, that's fine too.
Speaking of little scary season, little Halloween Scream, I went to go see Black Phone 2 this weekend.
How was it?
Very good.
I love the first one. I thought Ethan Hawke does such a good job of being a complete psychopath.
I gotta say, I think the first one was scarier. Maybe it's because the first one's realistic, where the second one, without giving too much away, is not very realistic.
A little more supernatural.
A little more. Listen, if this is happening to us, I think you're kind of screwed. Like I don't think you're really getting out of it. I'm gonna be honest.
Tell you what movie I watched this weekend. Thought it was fantastic.
I saw you tweet about this.
Weapons.
Fantastic movie.
Really, really, really good.
Did you like how Weapons was told about how it was the different perspectives?
Yeah, so it was a vantage point. Remember that was a movie with Dennis Quaid back in the early 2000s about a political assassination, but it got told from 7 or 8 points of view, and they just kept reliving the same 15 minutes. That's what they did in Weapons, and I love that way of telling the story. I think it's clever, it's smart, especially for a movie like that where you sort of need a bunch of different inputs. I thought it was great. Weapons, fantastic. Highly recommend it.
You know what I loved about that movie too is because sometimes when you do the overlapping story thing where you have we're telling you from this character perspective and then someone else, they show the same scene over and over again.
Right.
And it gets kind of annoying because you're like, okay, I know what's going to happen. I like how when you knew what was going to happen, they just cut away and skipped it. I thought it was a nice little nuance.
It took me probably 45 minutes into the movie to start noticing it, but pretty much every scene where someone's driving, you see Josh Brolin's truck going around.
Yeah.
So he's but that's like his character is he's being the crazy guy who's sort of following the whole situation. So every scene you see someone in the car, you also see his big Dodge truck somewhere in the background. I thought it was super well done. I really, really enjoyed it. Before we get to long shots, Tyler on YouTube saying LFGSDFC.
Yes, sir.
Jamar says the same thing, but added a couple exclamation points. So I think Jamar wins that one.
Jamar.
Passport Comic says, I agree. Ohtani will be up there if he continues. So hard in any sport to say greatest of all time. He's just at the top at the moment. Such a great history of baseball, and at times forget players from the past. Yeah, I think I can confidently say that's the greatest postseason performance I've ever seen. Now, Don Larson pitched a perfect game in a World Series at one point, or no hitter. Was it a perfect game? No hitter. Perfect game.
It was perfect game.
Perfect game.
I believe.
Pretty sure. And that's one of those performances that's otherworldly, right? He didn't hit 3 home runs in the same game. Ohtani went 6 innings, gave up 2 hits, walked a couple guys, and had 10 strikeouts, and then hit 3 home runs in a clinching game for the Dodgers. I can't stand the Dodgers. I think that's the greatest individual baseball performance I've ever seen in my life.
Well, also, I think what goes into it is that, excuse me. I think what goes into that is that this guy was having a really bad postseason. It's crazy how he flipped the narrative. And they were talking about nationally, is Ohtani becoming the guy that now he's had some big postseason moments against the Padres, against the Mets, but he didn't have a very good World Series last year. People forget it was really Freddie Freeman that carried that World Series in the end. And the fact that he came out against the Reds, 2 home runs, and it was really struggling hitting the baseball to completely flip the narrative against it. And then honestly, the most impressive thing is the 10 strikeouts. I mean, he made this Brewers team, which through most of the year was one of the, even though they don't hit a lot of home runs, would just bat around the bases. They were kind of the hit king. They were a lot like the Padres. They were just better in that they wouldn't hit home runs, but they would just kind of slap the ball and play. The fact that he had 10 strikeouts and were making them look awful at the plate, that was just as impressive. And then 3 home runs on that. Wow, what a performance.
All right, Sammy, YouTube is also saying we need a win out of you today. Are you ready?
I am ready. So my guy Rasheed, if we would have just taken touchdowns, because he did go off. I was right. He went off. We didn't, because the Raiders didn't put up any fight.
7 catches for 30 something,
42 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Raiders didn't put up any fight, so they took him out of it. They took all the starters out in the middle of the third quarter.
Okay, we don't need to just. You also failed on some other parts of the Friday long shots. Tennis, you weren't even close on.
Excuse me. First off,
Kyron Williams, you weren't close on. So
excuse me.
Did just your guy Rasheed?
Did you pick it?
No, I said Rasheed touchdowns.
No, you said Jordan Addison touchdown.
I said Rasheed touchdown for sure.
You said Jordan Addison touchdown. You are not gonna lie here.
I don't think I did.
Yes, you did. I will pull the tape.
I for sure was the one that said Rasheed touchdown on the stack. You had his yards.
They listen. I thought Center Alcaraz would put up a little bit.
No, I said Jordan Addison more than 4.5 receptions. I just pulled up the lineup.
I said that, and you said touchdown.
No, you said the yards, and I said there's a demon for receptions. We can rewind the tape.
I will pull the tape on Friday.
Please do.
Yes, Friday. I thought Sinner and Alcaraz would go a little bit longer because I thought they were fighting over the same girl at the U.S. Open.
The 3 picks you had were Sinner, Kyron Williams, Rasheed Rice, and Jordan Addison yards. You got 1 out of 4.
Rich is defending you. He said Fletch picked Addison receptions.
Thank you. I know I did.
I don't remember that.
Sammy, smash the button. Let's get a winner.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
This guy
was so money. You don't even know.
Time to take a chance.
Pay that man his money.
With long shots.
Choose one, so I don't care about anyone.
When did I say that?
That's just kind of what I heard.
I lost money too, fool.
All right, where are we going today?
By the way, I got Fletch hooked up on a certain kind of app.
You just call me fool?
Yeah, I called you fool. I got Fletch hooked up on another kind of app, so there's other ways for him to gamble.
OnlyFans. It's great.
All right, guys, we got a lot to get to today. We're going to start with the Monday night game. Baker Mayfield, Tampa Bay, taking on the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions secondary is awful, mainly right now because of the fact that they're all injured. Terry and Arnold's out. Their number 1 and number 2 corners are not playing in this game. Vegas is telling you, if we're going according to the game script, 6.5 point favorite in Detroit. I think Detroit comes out here, has a good performance. They were bad against the Chiefs last Sunday night. They've been sitting here. They got another day's rest. So I do think we're going to go Baker Mayfield, more than 33.5 passing attempts.
What's the line on this game?
The Lions are favored by 6.5.
Is that right?
It's 100% right.
That's an insane line.
It's a big number. I think it's a big number too. I think they're counting on the fact that, again, you have another day's rest. You're coming off a tough loss in Kansas City, and Tampa Bay, despite all their greatness, has been coming back and winning these games at the last second.
Right,
so
every game is close no matter who they're playing. That's why I think it's an insane line.
I'm going to go Baker Mayfield, more than 33.5 passing attempts. It looks like Mike Evans and Emeka Egbuka are going to play. It hasn't become official yet. It looks like Godwin's out, as well as Bucky Irving. That means Rashad White is taking over lead back duties down there. Baker Mayfield, I do think they'll be playing from behind in this game, more than 33.5 passing attempts. On the other side, Jahmyr Gibbs, more than 61.5 rushing yards. I think they're going to go back to really what this team is found on. This team is great. You got Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown. The deep ball can go back in the offense. But this team at its core is a running team that just has excellent playmakers on the outside, and Goff can get the ball to him. Jahmyr Gibbs, I think they're trying to impose their will at home in Detroit, more than 61.5 rush yards.
Can I ask a question?
What's up?
Just a quick question. Does it make you feel any differently about that pick, knowing that Vita Vea, who's like one of the best run stoppers in the NFL, is on the defensive line for the Bucs?
No, because I think that's what's depressing his line right now, and that's why it's only at 61.5.
Gotcha. Continue. Our music is gone.
Oh, what happened to music? See, what's going on today, Fletch? All right. 61.5 rush yards, more for Jahmyr Gibbs. All right, we're going to go to the second Monday night game. We're going to go Kenneth Walker, more than 49.5 rush yards. Listen, betting on the Seattle backfield is always interesting because you always have that ability where Charbonnet could steal touches. But Kenneth Walker is the better back in my estimation. That's why his number's bigger, 49.5 versus 38.5 for Zach Charbonnet. Kenneth Walker is the lead back. Houston, they're going to have to run the ball here because Houston's a very stingy defense. They've given up the fewest points per game in the entire NFL. It's like, I believe, at like 11.2. Now, some of that has to do with the teams they played, but they have one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. You got Danielle Hunter, Will Henderson. I think that they're going to try to slow down the pass rush a little bit and establish and run the ball early. Kenneth Walker, more than 49.5 rushing yards. And then we're going to go to baseball. We're going to go Shane Bieber, more than 12.5 pitching outs for Toronto. And I know you're going, Sammy, in a game 7, you're going more on the pitching outs than a pitcher. If you look at yesterday, one of the underlying things about the Mariners yesterday is that they came back enough in the game to where the game wasn't in complete doubt. So Hoffman, their star closer, had to go 2 innings. He threw a season-high pitches at 36 yesterday. So, like, if you're a Mariner fan, you're kind of sitting there going, yeah, we lost the game, and anything can happen in a game 7. But there you burn the star closer who he'll probably try to come back out tonight, but he can't go super long because he went yesterday. The Toronto burned a lot of pitchers yesterday trying to hold that game. I think Shane Bieber has to go a little bit ways for them to be the star pitcher. 12.5 pitching outs. What does that put us at? It puts us at into the 4th inning. We need him to get
into the 5th.
Into the 5th inning.
12 outs would be through 4.
Okay, yeah. So
4 times 3 is 12.
Yes.
So he needs to get 1 out in the 5th inning.
I did go to Rancho Bernardo High, so
that's
why the math.
Do you feel better about that or worse about that?
No, I feel good about it because I think Shane Bieber has to go ways in this game because they did burn a little bit of their bullpen. I think the Mariners, this is going to be an all hands on deck. I feel like it's going to be a great game, lower scoring game. Shane Bieber, more than 12.5 pitching outs. So to recap, Shane Bieber, more than 12.5 pitching outs. Kenneth Walker, more than 49.5 rushing yards for Seattle. Baker Mayfield, more than 33.5 passing attempts. And Jahmyr Gibbs, more than 61.5 rushing yards for Detroit.
I'm locked in and I power played it, Sammy, because I have that much faith in Sammy.
That's what we love to hear
on a Monday. Text line doesn't. 858 Friday's long shots sucked, period. You both failed us and now I'm eating noodles until Thursday. Sorry, 858.
Wait, what do you mean eating noodles? You like ramen?
Probably. 619 off by a long shot. LOL. Hashtag ride with Sammy. 858 Vita Vea is going to be clogging the interior. Gibbs runs the ball outside, so he should.
Exactly. That's why we're not going with Montgomery. That's why we're going with Jahmyr Gibbs. Thank you, 858.
We'll get to some of these other texts. There's actually some movie recommendations on here, some Chargers texts on here that we'll get to coming up in hour 2. Hour 2 is going to be largely dedicated to the NFL outside of one baseball storyline that all of a sudden is a thing. Is Albert Pujols going to be the next manager of the San Diego Padres? And do you like that? Text us 70470. Start your message with team. Previewing some Monday Night Football games coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by the California Secretary of State. The ALCS gets going tonight. Game 7, Mariners, Blue Jays. The Mariners are currently plus 110 on the money line, so a slight underdog. The late money has all been coming in on Toronto. George Kirby will be going for the Mariners, while Shane Bieber will be going for the Blue Jays. In Monday Night Football, we got a doubleheader. Tampa Bay on the road taking on Detroit. The game is going at 4 o'clock. Detroit is currently a 6.5-point favorite. Houston's on the road in Seattle. That game will get going at 7 o'clock. Seattle is a 3.5-point favorite. In California, voting is easy. Drop your ballot in a secure drop box. Vote early, in person, or mail it. Don't delay. Vote today. Get more information at sos.ca.gov. A message from the California Secretary of State.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
It's almost showtime.
The show's great.
I love that show.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
They're just funny. They're really random and off the wall.
Show us what you got.
NFL Week 7.
Christian McCaffrey over 200 yards of offense, and the Niners win it 20-10 here at home.
Still want to count them out?
Single on the near side, Conrads, touchdown, Kansas City.
Meanwhile, some other madness.
Kick on the way, it is good. Bronco players celebrating like they just won a home playoff game.
SDFC starts their run to the MLS Cup after taking care of business in Portland.
Anders Filters et Group Pellegrino goal. You know Anders Dreyer was like Jason, just waiting to strike.
The Aztecs are back in Mountain West action against Fresno State. Plus,
Okay, Bill, let's hear it.
Jordan Addison, more than 42.5 receiving yards.
Okay, fire me up.
Rasheed Rice, a receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, more than 65.5 receiving yards.
Why do I do this?
Tyron Williams, running back for the Los Angeles Rams, more than 69.5 rush yards.
You know what your problem is. You have no game.
Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz, more than 23 total games.
affirmative. Well, can't win them all. Now, live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios, we enter the Fletch Zone.
Oh, yes, you gamblers out there, you have come to the right spot. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. We talk sports every single day from 12 to 2. We talk a lot about gambling on sports every day from 12 to 2 as well. Our buddy Tyler on YouTube just saying, anyone in the chat have any season-long props they like for the NBA?
Oh.
Funny you should say that, Ty. Can I call you Ty? Coming up tomorrow, it's the official start of the NBA season, right, Sammy?
Yes, sir. We got a doubleheader tomorrow night.
Coming up tomorrow, we will unveil our season-long NBA picks. We are so far 0 for 2 on season-long picks. The NFL one that we did this year is still up in the air, but we go 6-leggers for season-long.
Yeah.
So forgive us. They're hard to hit, all right? But
listen,
we will have one tomorrow.
Listen, if you want to be, it's the bigger risk, the bigger reward. Okay.
That's true. The season-longs all have potential to pay me like $1,500.
Yeah, we're going to tap in with some NBA picks tomorrow. I
think baseball, we actually went 0 for 6.
Baseball was bad.
Which that's more impressive than going 6 for 6 in my opinion.
The NFL one is
potential.
There's some potential right now. Like we're quietly optimistic.
Jaden Daniels to not be injured.
But good news there. Apparently they don't think it's long term, but he may miss next week.
He's already missed a couple weeks, so that I think it's like 4,200 yards we need out of him are going to be tough to get because of the injuries. But we'll get to all that soon. Ty, thank you for being here on the chat, man. We appreciate you a lot. The text line's awesome. Talking about hungover, drinking too much. We'll get to all that.
Yeah, we have like a lot of great texts right now.
Right now, I do want to spend some time previewing some NFL coming up later tonight. We're going to get back to the Pujols conversation. I've noticed we have not talked an ounce yet about a certain Sunday night football game last night. That we'll have to do that at some point in this hour as well. But right now, tonight's games, Sammy, get the betting lines up. Tampa Bay at Detroit, Houston at Seattle. They've spread them out, so it's not the format that's been the last couple of weeks on Monday night.
6 hours of football, baby. Love it.
6 straight hours starting at 4 o'clock. This is what we want. If you are like myself and Sammy, who this is just addiction to you and you're ready to put more in your veins, tonight's the night, baby, because these are 2 really, really good games. Tampa Bay's been incredible this year. Baker Mayfield leading the charge for MVP. Him and Patrick Mahomes kind of going back and forth. The Detroit Lions, after an absolute stinker in week 1 against a Packers team that we're finding out is not very for real at all. Detroit's hosting Tampa Bay. Can't wait for it. And then Houston, Seattle. People, I think, are sleeping on Seattle a little bit. That is an extremely talented roster, and Houston needs to get going. Otherwise, their season is gone. Tonight's a must-win situation for Houston. So these are two awesome games.
Yeah, both games should be excellent tonight. Very
the betting lines.
Yeah, the Detroit favored by 6.5. Point total pretty high at 53.5. Makes sense. Two very good offenses. And then we got the Texans and Seattle. Seattle is a 3.5 point favorite, and the point total there is 41.5.
See, I would have thought those spreads would be opposite. Like, I would have thought Detroit would be the 3.5 point favorite. Seattle would have been the 6.5 point favorite.
Again, I think the Detroit line being that big is, well, there's a lot of injuries coming in the game. Now, I think this line will come down to 4.5 if it's looking like Egbuka.
So should we take the Bucks at plus 6.5?
Maybe. I think it's an interesting option. Now, ideally, you want that hook at 7.5, but Egbuka and Evans are all questionable. It looks like they're going to play. They practiced a little bit last week, so I think they're going to play tonight. But I think because of all the injuries, like if they go into the game tonight with the receivers they had last week, I don't see them winning, despite the fact that the Lions corners are all injured. But that game's going to be excellent. I think. And then in the night game, Houston in Seattle, that game's gonna be a blast too. Because yeah, it does feel like Seattle is not getting respect. Like no matter where Sam Darnold goes, it just feels like they kind of have to prove it. Feels like Seattle and the Colts are two teams that are like good football teams and don't really get the respect that they probably should deserve. And Houston, it is kind of like you left them for dead, and they beat a bad Baltimore team who is completely injured. But we'll see if CJ Stroud, who can kind of outperform there.
All right, well, let's get to the big three here of hour number 2, where Sammy Long rips through the top stories in the world of sports. Shame, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
I like the overs in a lot of what's happening tonight in the NFL.
You like the over for both games?
I think we got some offense that's going to go crazy tonight.
I'm a little nervous because I feel like I got to look at the percentage of bets, but all the money will be on the over for Lions Bucks.
Yeah, probably.
That's why that number's so high at 53.5. But we'll see. Let's start with that game. Is the Bucks and Lions winner the favorite in the NFC?
No, they're not. I do think that these two teams will be very much in the conversation come the end of the year. Now, Philadelphia was at a bit of a turning point yesterday. I thought had they lost yesterday's game, they were heading for the gutter. But they kind of won in dominant fashion, and they won with tendency breakers. They won with Jalen Hurts throwing the ball deep. We haven't seen that good of a passing game out of Jalen Hurts in about a year, and he was fantastic. So the Eagles, unfortunately for all of us who are kind of sick of the Eagles, sort of have to be put back into that conversation at the top of the NFC. This game, I don't know, determines anything right off the jump. Like, oh, the Bucks are going to be ready better the rest of the year because they beat the Lions. Same thing about the Lions. Because they play in two separate divisions, I feel like this is one of those situations where whoever wins this game is sure going to have a lot of momentum for the next few weeks because this is going to be hard fought no matter what. But I do think both of these two teams end up as locks in the postseason, not wild cards.
I think the winner certainly is the biggest threat to the Eagles. You got some other teams in there. I will throw your Niners in there despite all the injuries. I think that the injuries...
They look pretty damn good last night.
Yeah, I do think the injuries on defense is still a big deal. But the Rams... I'm not going to say they're the number one favorite, I guess, because I do think it's probably the Rams. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, the Rams probably, regardless, I feel like are the favorites in the NFC. They should be the favorite to the Rams. But with tonight, both teams have question marks. Like Tampa
Rams.
Bay. What do you say?
Rams.
Oh, that's just because you're a Niner fan. That's why. The Rams are good. See what they did to
Rams,
Jacksonville?
I saw the Rams lose to the 49ers earlier this year with a team of backups.
Again, they play them again, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, the Bucs and the Lions, like you look at, the Bucs have question marks. Like, it's great, the story of Baker Mayfield and the fact that he should be one of the favorites for MVP, but they are losing all these games and coming back and winning kind of miraculously. So there's something there. It's like, is that really sustainable? Maybe. Who knows? But
we saw with the Vikings last year, right? We saw the Vikings winning a bunch of close games early on in the season, and then it falls apart at the end of the year. I could easily see that happening.
I mean, it happened to the Chiefs. The Chiefs won all these one-score games. You're kind of like, you feel like they're going to get found out at some point, and then they got found out in the Super Bowl. And then with Detroit, though, Detroit has questions too. Like, everyone's looking at Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. Like, so the one big win why we thought Detroit was the number one threat to the Eagles at the time was they smashed Baltimore. And Baltimore was healthy on offense. Their defense was not healthy. But everyone's beating Baltimore. The Bills beating Baltimore. The Chiefs beating Baltimore. The Houston Texans beating Baltimore. So part of me is like, they don't really have a signature win. They went on the road in Kansas City, and I get it was kind of a must-win game for the Chiefs, but they didn't look very good in that game. The offense did not get going whatsoever, and a Chief defense at that time that had just given up a ton of points to Jacksonville. Like, this is a big game for both teams tonight, and I think it's even a bigger game for Detroit. Like, Detroit can't lose this game, in my opinion. All right, let's say with the NFL, the Broncos go back to this game. The Broncos, crazy comeback in the fourth quarter.
What a puke-worthy game.
19 points deficit, one of the greatest comebacks this year and in the previous few years. Are the Broncos lucky or good so far this season?
I don't think they're very good. They don't pass the eyeball test, right? They have a good record. They're at the top of the AFC West right now, but nothing the Broncos have done so far this year lead me to say, oh, that's a team that's going to be a problem in the postseason. No, I look at them as a team that's going to get knocked out in the first round if they even make the postseason. I could totally eat my words on this one. Yesterday's game told me nothing about the Denver Broncos and told me everything about the New York Giants. The New York Giants don't know how to win close games. They don't know how to slam the door shut, which is why they left it open, and Bo Nix just took advantage of the situation. That was coaching problems. That was execution problems. That was terrible decisions from the New York Giants. And all Denver had to do was just kind of take what the defense was giving them and allowing them somehow to march up and down the field and come back in that game. There's no excuse to give up a 19-point lead. Is that what it was in the fourth quarter? Was it 19 points?
Yeah.
19-point lead in the NFL, and you're giving it up in the fourth quarter? I don't think that told me anything about Denver. That told me enough about New York.
I'm with you. I think certainly lucky yesterday. I give them credit for coming back, but the Giants completely gave that game away. It's funny how it's flipped, because the other side to Denver is that they probably should have beaten the Colts, and they did beat the Colts until they called the leveraging call, and then they end up kicking a field goal. They didn't look very good in the Titans win.
They looked awful against the Jets. They come back at the end of the game against the Eagles. That was very fortunate. So I think what you have with Denver is a team that has one of the best defenses in football. You have a very good receiver in Cortland Sutton. The running game, RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins has been a nice combination. Bo Nix, for me, I don't see it. Like, I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's a fine player. But when it comes to, like, he doesn't throw dudes open. Like, even that play down the middle when the Giants, at the end of the game, they dropped everyone back. Like, that looked like it was honestly going to the other receiver, and Sutton came up and got it. Not the one on the sideline, but the one across the middle. Like, Bo Nix, to me, feels like he's just not seeing it right. I don't see the Broncos legit Super Bowl contenders, because I don't see Bo Nix leading them. But I do think as a team, they're a solid team. But we'll see going forward. All right, third story: Dallas Cowboys whoop up on the Washington Commanders, put 44 points up there. They're 3-1 on the season. The Eagles are sitting there 5-2. Now, the Eagles did beat them, but that game was very close week one. How big a threat do you think Dallas is, not only to the Eagles in the NFC East, or just in the NFC in general? Cowboys are good, man. I do think they need to trade for a defensive piece, which is insane to think what they did this past offseason with trading Micah Parsons away. But the Cowboys need a defensive piece, but that offense is good enough to hang with anybody. It's a little bit like the Bengals were a year ago, if the Bengals didn't have such a slow start and had to fight their way back into the conversation. The Cowboys are already in the conversation. And the fact that they could score 40 on any given Sunday is going to be able to carry them a long way. If they woke something up with Javonte Williams, who has proven in the past that he can be an RB1 on a team, if they woke something up with him yesterday and all of a sudden they have a run game to complement what's already been a prolific passing game this year, the Cowboys are a problem. And they have blown away my expectations for this team coming into the season. But Dak Prescott's playing at an excellent level right now, and the two wide receivers, it's working. You saw with CeeDee Lamb back in the rotation yesterday, all that does is help George Pickens be an even better wide receiver. When the two of them are cooking at the same time, things look really, really good in Dallas. So congrats, Cowboys fans. You guys are good enough to get to maybe a NFC wildcard round and lose again.
It's funny. I got to give our very own Steve Hartman some credit, because he called the Cowboys making the playoffs.
Sammy, did you just give me credit?
He goes, finally.
What about Samuel?
But look at what this team's done. They whoop up on the Commanders. I get Daniels goes down, but they were winning that game handily by the time Daniels goes down. They tied the Packers when everyone's thinking the Packers are going to blow them out because of the Mike Parsons deal. They got blown out by the Bears, but watching that game, people would forget that game was actually close until CeeDee Lamb went down, and then the offense kind of went in disarray. They threw a brutal pick at the end of the game. and kind of returned it. Listen, the defense is a major concern because they're giving up tons of points and bunches. Deron Bland got the pick 6 yesterday, but I can give Dak Prescott a lot of credit. Like the narrative around this team, the drama that Jerry Jones causes. I mean, they were number 1 in the headlines, trading Micah Parsons. Feels like they're just punting on the year. And this team kind of honestly feel like they took it personally. And I got to give Jerry Jones a little credit. Like, I don't give Jerry Jones credit for when he did the deal, but now looking at how the offense is, and to be fair to Jerry Jones, it's not like the defense was good with Micah Parsons. They just had a generational pass rusher. If you're sitting there and had done this Micah Parsons deal before the draft, and had drafted some more defense, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I think there's a cap on how far they can go, but I got to give the Cowboys some credit. Like, they could have kind of rolled over and died this year and just kind of punted on the season, and they're squarely in the mix and certainly one of the most dangerous offenses in the entire NFL.
Yeah, they're good. All right, coming up next, your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to Hello Scream at SeaWorld San Diego. We will give you an exact time to call coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Do we know who the Padres' next manager is? We'll talk about it coming up next on San Diego Sports 760. San Diego Sports 760. If it's your first time here, my name is Ben Fletcher. That is Sammy Long. We do this show from noon to 2 every single day. We like talking about what the people like, so let's get it going here. Text line today, 70470. Start your message with team. We got this from the 619. If you guys want a gambling lock, take the over on John and Jim calling for the new manager's job, regardless of who it is 3 months into the season. Do John and Jim like to call for people to get fired?
Do they like to call for their jobs? They just they were fairly harsh on Mike Schilt.
Yeah, sure. I think we were too.
I think they were very fair in their criticism.
Mike Schilt was very goofy to the media, like goofier than an MLB manager should. Apparently, he was not goofy behind closed doors. If you were to believe that,
I didn't like how testy Mike Schilt got to the media for asking legit questions.
You said testy. That was funny, Sammy. 619, I'm so hungover, boys. Don't ever drink 12 beers and 6 shots when you work at 5 a.m. the next morning.
619's got a story last night.
619, you just power through it. All right. Hangover is simply your body telling you you're a quitter, and you've proven by drinking 12 beers and 6 shots that you're not a quitter.
Dude,
you are a success.
Shout out to 619 for like being hungover and still tuning in to the show, man. Shout out to 619.
You want Sammy to do another one of those like horrified screams that could get you out of the hangover real quick?
No, that's gonna make he's gonna yak everywhere.
No, go ahead, Sammy, because I got to do the SeaWorld. There it is. SeaWorld tickets. The time we're gonna put on this, by the way. What do you think? 127.
That just hurt my voice.
Does that work? 127 is going to be the time for you to call to win SeaWorld tickets. Sammy, what number caller do you want to give away?
We're gonna do 11.
Okay, caller number 11 at 127. You're going to win a 4-pack of tickets to Hello Scream. The reason we're setting a time on this is because we got people listening on the app who there is a 40 to 45 second delay usually. This gives them an opportunity. So 127, caller number 11, you're winning a 4-pack of tickets to go to Hello Scream. 619 saying OKC is back-to-back. That's the NBA lock. 559, the Broncos also took what the offense was giving them because Dart threw that INT, LOL, from our buddy Mauricio. And 559, who's our Norway listener, says it's 10:15 p.m. over here. When you guys asked me Friday what time it was, I forgot to start the text with the
shout out to Mauricio tapping in from overseas.
From Norway. We got a listener in Norway. What? I'm going to sound kind of dumb. Mauricio, what is the chief export of Norway?
Norway. This is going to sound bad, but I did go to San Diego State. Where it like Norway is like above Spain?
That's an important question, and we're going to move right on because I have no idea, dude. I don't know where Norway is.
Mauricio, fill us in, man.
Oh, we look like idiots right now. All right, is Albert Pujols going to be the next manager of the Padres?
I guess.
I keep going back and forth in my brain, Sammy, because AJ Preller does this. AJ Preller wants to be in on every conversation. So the fact that Albert Pujols is out there interviewing to be managers, it makes sense the Padres are in on it. But I'm trying to think if it's a serious in on it, or is this Scherzer at the trade deadline where it's like the Padres are close and then he ends up going to the Dodgers?
Well, they're obviously okay. There's obviously serious enough because so it was the Angels, Orioles, and then Padres. The Angels are out now. The Angels are by far the worst team of those three. Like the Orioles aren't very good, but the Orioles were expected to have a really good season.
Now there's 8 teams that have managerial openings.
The Padres would be the quote best team right now. Now you can make an argument that other teams like Baltimore has a lot of young talent. They didn't come together last year, but if you're a manager, Baltimore is attractive. If you're looking at all 8 managerial openings, you look at the Padres is probably the most win now ready team. Now you could look at that and go, they know Preller traded away the farm system. So there's probably not a lot to work with in terms of, unless you're making a big deal, like obviously Fernando Tatis or something like that to regain prospects. Outside of something like that happening, there's not a lot of leeway to work with, especially considering the owners don't spend money since you know the passing of Peter Seidler. It's interesting. It's a big name that will be on SportsCenter and all the national shows will be talking about it.
Maybe I'm missing something. I just didn't even know this was the track that Pujols wanted to go down until last week. It was the first time I heard something about it, but I guess he was attached to the Angels for a while. I'm curious if Albert Pujols is thought of in Major League Baseball circles. Like you hear it coming through broadcasts. When Nick Huntley was the catcher for the Padres, I remember vividly people saying, this guy's going to be a great manager one day.
Yeah.
I don't know that I ever heard that about Albert Pujols.
Well, and my thing is this. So reading that article from Kevin Acee last week about Mike Schilt, and again, all this is a he said, she said, so I don't want to just run down Mike Schilt because you don't really know what's going on. It's anonymous sources talking about him. So
there's also new drama popping up between Eric Grupner and AJ Preller. Like the Padres are kind of exhausting right now. It's a reality show going on in the background.
It's 100%. And by the way, not a very good look when you're trying to go hire a baseball manager who's you're asking to come join the
terrible.
mess.
And by like, not just to throw that out there, the AJ Preller, Eric Grupner drama. Eric Grupner is the CEO, AJ Preller, the general manager. In the past, they had been lockstep with their extensions. Apparently, Grupner already got an extension. Preller still doesn't have one.
Right.
Which is very un-Peter Seidler-like, but maybe this is how John Seidler wants to do business.
And if you're looking at this as a manager, you're going, wait, so AJ Preller would be the guy hiring me, but is he going to get blown out next year? And you look at it, like my only question with Albert Pujols is this. If you want to look on the positive side, you go, he was an all-time great hitter. Maybe he will command respect in the locker room. The other thing, though, is so according to the article, Mike Schilt was too pro player. They said kind of let the players just run and dictate the locker room. And it was extremely hard on the coaching staff and certainly on the media. Are we going down that same road? Is Albert Pujols really going to come in here and lay the law down on players? Because I think sometimes some of the star players on this team lack a little focus at times.
Do you mean Manny Machado?
Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. Say their names. They didn't perform in the postseason. I think some of the stars on this team could use a little bit more motivation. And I'm wondering if hiring a former player in his first job is really the best way to do that. Or if you're getting Mike Schilt 2.0 with less managerial experience.
There's a chance, by the way, Bruce Bochy looks at this and is like, there's no shot I want to be a part of anything going on with these San Diego Padres. It just seems like dysfunction. It seems like the players are kind of running it. So Bruce Bochy, while I think would be the perfect option to avoid everything you just said, Sammy, like talk about a guy who immediately walks through the front door and everyone is very clear, oh no, that's the boss. And I would hope Manny Machado would do that if it's Bruce Bochy walking through the door. I don't know if that's the case with Albert Pujols.
Well, and the Bruce Bochy thing is interesting because with the lockout coming up, you wonder if an older manager,
you just need someone for 1 year.
But
the lockout's coming in 27 and it's going to be ugly according to all reports.
We know that they don't want to spend money. And Bruce Bochy, that's an expensive get. Now it's the right get. It's the get that puts his team on the map. But do they want to do that with the lockout?
All right, caller number 11 is going to win. The phone lines are completely lit up. Congratulations to everyone who heard the little tease. We'll have a winner for you on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Sunday Night Football. A little look back on what went down last night coming up next live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Mucinex. 12-hour DM STFC is hosting their first playoff game ever for the franchise. That'll be Sunday at 6:30. You can hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Apparently, the Padres are interested, per John Hyman, of they're interested in Albert Pujols potentially becoming the manager for the San Diego Padres. And then a doubleheader on Monday Night Football, Bucks Lions. That game gets going at 4:00. Detroit is currently a 6.5-point favorite, and Houston is in Seattle taking on the Seahawks at 7:00. Seattle is a 3.5-point favorite in that one. Say not today to cough and congestion with Mucinex 12-hour. With just one pill, Mucinex 12-hour works continuously to break up mucus and move it up and out. Mucinex 12-hour, rid the congestion, kill the cough. Use as directed. Kill the cough with Mucinex 12-hour DM.
I like to think for a Monday show, this has actually gone pretty swimmingly well. Until that update read, dude.
It went. I lost
the reporter for baseball.
It was a rough read. I'm not gonna lie.
Who was the guy you were quoting from baseball? Talking about Pujols?
You say it.
No, you go ahead.
No.
The way you said it was great.
John Hyman.
John Hyman?
John Heyman.
John Heyman is the name.
Listen,
Hyman
my computer went down mid update read during it, so we had to scramble a little bit.
All right, we will talk about the Sunday Night Football game, but I did want to mention a game for sure Sammy did not watch, but had significance here in the building because the New England Patriots beat the Tennessee Titans 31-13 final score. Did you watch a second of this game, Sammy, or were you locked in on the Chiefs?
No, I'm watching the Chiefs.
Okay, so here's the significance of this game. Drake May was 21 of 23 for 222 yards, 2 touchdown passes, and 62 rushing yards on 8 carries. 91.3% completion rate breaks Tom Brady's record for a Patriots single game, which was 88.5%, he said in 2009. He becomes the first Patriots quarterback ever to complete over 90% of his passes in a game with at least 20 attempts. And in the Super Bowl era, he joined a rare group, Lamar Jackson, Robert Griffin III, and Walter Payton, as a quarterback with at least 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a 60-plus rushing yard game in a single game. 4th straight game without a turnover. He also matched Brady's mark of 4 games in a season with 200-plus passing yards, a passer rating of 135-plus, and 2 touchdown passes, a milestone Tom Brady reached in 2007, which was one of the best years of his career. All that leading me to say this. I think the answer or the question has been answered of that 2024 draft class. Who's been the best so far? I think the answer is Drake May.
No, it's not.
Dude,
it's Jaden Daniels.
Okay, yeah, because he got to an NFC championship game, but look at him right now.
Yeah.
Look at him right now. Who's playing better football? If you individualize the position, Drake May is playing
no.
phenomenal
If Drake
football.
May gets to an AFC championship game this year, we can have that conversation. Jaden Daniels, in his first season as a rookie, took a feat on a team that no one thought was even going to be competitive to the NFC championship game.
And he's looked very okay this year.
2 massive road dogs. They were a road dog in Tampa, won that game, beat the number 1 team in the NFC in Detroit. They were 10.5-point dogs in that game. Listen, Drake May is a beast. All respect to Drake May, but no shot has he been the best second-year quarterback over Jaden Daniels.
In year 2, he has been better. This season,
yes.
Drake May has been the best.
But are we just
going
to discredit the rookie season?
No, I'm not going to. But Jaden Daniels doesn't look close to what he was a year ago. And a lot of that's injuries. But Drake May, what he's doing right now, literally taking down a bunch of Tom Brady records in year 2.
I don't think it's Jaden Daniels' fault for why they've looked. The defense is abysmal.
Sure.
And by the way, he hasn't had his number 1 receiver, Terry McLaurin, since about week 2 this season.
If you were watching that game yesterday, you watched Drake May throw the football. He's throwing it into some tough spots. He's taking risks. He is so confident right now for some reason, but it's working out.
So how would you rank second-year quarterbacks? If you were doing a draft today?
See, that's a great question because I might be convinced to take Drake May first.
I'd be taking Jaden Daniels.
I probably would too. It wouldn't be Caleb Williams. I can tell you that. He's dropped to number 3.
Well, yeah, of course.
Bo Nix and Caleb Williams are now in the same era for me.
I would go Jaden Daniels so far. Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Caleb Williams, and then Bo Nix, I guess, because he's done more, and then Michael Penix, and then McCarthy. I mean,
that's probably the list. But if this season plays out and Drake May continues to play like this, he has to jump over Jaden Daniels.
Okay, but by that logic, like Caleb Williams, Drake May is playing better than Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams on a 4-game win streak Is he better than Jaden Daniels?
No,
obviously. So Jaden Daniels is the number one guy
it's also,
to this point.
When you look at New England's offense, there's one name that really jumps out, and it's Drake May. Stephon Diggs is playing well this year. Ramondre Stevenson had his best game of the season so far yesterday, but for the most part, he's been a fumble machine. So Drake May is carrying the Patriots right now. I'm not impressive.
I'm not dogging Drake. Drake May is a fantastic player and is going to be a good quarterback for years to come. I think, though, knocking pretending like Jaden Daniels, what he has accomplished doesn't exist. Like Jaden Daniels has done more in one rookie season than Justin Herbert has his whole career,
for sure.
Than Dak Prescott has his whole career, 100%. Than a lot of big time quarterbacks their entire career has done.
All right, good answer here from the 559, who's our buddy from overseas.
Yeah, you said Norway. He's from the Netherlands.
You're right. He said Norway's on top of the Netherlands. Sorry. 559 also says the biggest exports from both countries are mineral fuels. That's what I was curious about.
Hell yeah.
Sunday Night Football last night. The 49ers get a win. It was the Christian McCaffrey game, up over 200 total yards on the game. Here's what I'll say without talking about the 49ers really. Looking at the Falcons, I think that game should be worrisome for Falcons fans because Michael Penix looked that bad against a group of second stringers for the 49ers, which tells me Michael Penix can be game planned out of a game. Because it wasn't personnel that was going to stomp him. It wasn't Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa and Fred Warner who were going to stop him. It was a bunch of second stringers and even third stringers for the San Francisco 49ers. And Michael Penix looked a little bit lost. Without a couple of burst plays from Bijan Robinson, who is fantastic, by the way, the Falcons don't put any points on the scoreboard. Michael Penix looked completely lost the entire game. And I think that's showing you that if you can get game planned out of a game, it doesn't matter who the personnel is playing against you. The Falcons might be in some trouble with Michael Penix.
I think it also goes back to statue quarterbacks. Like we talked about last week, Joe Flacco and Aaron Rodgers matching up and how it was kind of an interesting matchup because it was some of the last pure pocket passers in the league. The really only great pocket passer left is Matthew Stafford. You could argue Joe Burrow.
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff. Yeah, that's true. Jared Goff. And you could argue Joe Burrow. Now, Joe Burrow's mobile when he needs to be, but you wouldn't call him a mobile quarterback. Michael Penix, I mean, look at all the guys. Jaden Daniels, mobile. Caleb Williams, mobile. Drake May is mobile when he needs to be.
60 yards rushing yesterday.
Bo Nix, 2 rushing touchdowns yesterday. I mean, all these guys are mobile, and Michael Penix is the one guy who kind of plays an old school style of football in that he doesn't really run. He's a statue in the pocket. He's got a cannon of an arm, but it's all about hitting spots. And I think to your point about them taking him out of a game, they're just making him like when you play a quarterback, you don't have to worry about them running. I think it just defenses now have gotten so much better. It's like it takes a whole dimension out of the game. And unless you are so pinpoint accurate and your offensive coordinator and your system is so much better than the defense, it just feels like you're kind of a lost cause.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. I probably should have done this research beforehand, but Michael Penix when Bijan Robinson doesn't rush for over 100 yards. I bet you his numbers are awful because the Niners did a pretty good job and they essentially just loaded up the box and said, Bijan's not going to beat us. Drake London's not going to beat us. Have fun beating us with Kyle Pitts. And that's what they tried to do. They were able to get Kyle Pitts whenever they wanted on those little kind of short field crossing routes that Kyle Pitts runs. But that doesn't do anything for your offense when other things are covered up. So if Bijan Robinson doesn't have a electric, huge game, Michael Penix is not a good quarterback. I think that's what we learned yesterday. Like, yeah, he relies so heavily on that part of the game, which of course everyone relies on their run game if you're a quarterback, but it feels like it's necessary for Michael Penix to win games.
And it's like, I don't understand why if you're the Falcons, you're going from the shotgun when he doesn't run the ball. Like the whole point of having a shotgun quarterback is that you're shifting, can get in space. Michael Penix is not. And you've seen like 2 gaffes for the Falcons at the end of the first half. You saw it when Drake London against the Bills last week. It goes out at the 1 yard line. Saw it against your Niners Fletch when he throws the ball out of bounds. Couldn't gotten a field goal there. Not saying they would have, changed the game, but I mean, you're looking at that going like what is going on from a play calling perspective. There is one thing I wanted to say though, because you were getting after my Chiefs last week for all the rigged calls and everything that was going on.
What are you talking about?
We all saw your right guard pull Christian McCaffrey in the end zone at the end of that game.
Total BS.
And nothing got called.
Total BS. I was texting with my pops when that was happening, and he was like, hey, not that I'm not happy, but how in the world was that a touchdown? And I said, well, funny you should say that. It shouldn't have been a touchdown. That was a terrible call. Total miss, but we'll see. If the tush push is allowed, that should probably be allowed too.
I just want to point that out there.
It was a total missed call, but that was on second down, I think. 2nd and 1 from the 1 yard
Yeah,
line.
but it was a 10-yard penalty.
Right. Oh, that's a good point. So maybe it should have only been a 3-point win or a 6-point win if they would have kicked the field goal. I will say, as a Niners fan, it is so nice having somebody who can make field goals consistently. Eddie Pinheiro, you are a savior. You're a messiah. But all of a sudden, Jake Moody's out there kicking
Isn't it
field
funny
goals.
how the Bears and Niners just keep swapping kickers?
And Jake Moody is somehow good now for the Bears?
And Pinheiro's good now. Both guys were terrible at their previous
Dude,
spot.
Pinheiro is like 55-yarder, easy, right down the middle. Game on. Sometimes you just need to change the scenery. That's it. But Christian McCaffrey, for everybody who was like, you can't even run the football anymore.
Who said that?
Bruh. He's been like averaging 50 yards a game rushing.
McCaffrey's a beast. Yeah, McCaffrey.
He was so good yesterday. I think just adding George Kittle back to that offense, all of a sudden everything opens back up. And the Falcons defense has been good against the run this year.
Yeah, and they were good. That's why it makes Michael Penix like more frustrating right now. Like the offense has weapons in. It's just hard to figure out. Like you look in the NFC, like you look at the Falcons.
That all Madden team, baby. That was the best call we ever made, Sammy. It was like one of our first days on air together. We called the Falcons the all Madden team.
They're fantastic in Madden. Like it's hard in the NFC and the AFC. There's a lot of teams. Like look at Pittsburgh this week. Pittsburgh puts up a clunker. You looked at them as a potential threat in the AFC. You looked at Michael Penix and the Falcons that they're whooping up on the Bills, potential threat. Like the Bears are winning games, but they're kind of sloppy and you're like, what's going on? Like there's so many middling teams right now in the NFC and AFC. It's going to just make for a lot of continuity in the postseason.
760 texts in says, as a San Diego resident from Indy, LFG horses haven't felt this good since Andrew Luck from Indy Andrew.
Ooh, Indy Andrew.
The Colts are fun. Can you imagine if Daniel Jones leads the Indianapolis Colts to an AFC championship game? They're a fun team to watch, man. Jonathan Taylor's killing it on the ground. Daniel Jones, every game is like 275 with 3 touchdowns.
My one positive.
They never punt.
And they deserve all the flowers in the world. The Colts do, and they certainly have earned the respect of being a top tier team in the AFC.
Oh my God. You know what we're heading back to? We're heading back to the Colts and the Patriots being the powerhouses in the AFC. It's going to be Manning Brady all over again, except now it's Jones May.
Have you seen the Chiefs play recently?
Sammy, relax about the Chiefs.
No, I'm just asking. You're talking about powerhouse of the AFC, and Jaden Daniels sucks. The Chiefs suck, apparently, from Ben Fletcher.
No one said the Chiefs suck.
By the way,
all get it.
By the way,
acknowledge other teams are good.
I'm giving them flowers. By the way, the Bills are still there. Like everyone's acting like the Bills are like just dead. Like the Chiefs, Bills. I think the Colts have elevated in that discussion. I think Pittsburgh. That was a clunker Thursday night. I think Pittsburgh is a team to watch out for. And then the Chargers, if they get healthy, are interesting, but I do think they need another weapon. And Denver is Denver.
Bills might not even win the AFC East.
So you picked them to go to the Super Bowl. Let me get this straight. You picked them to go to the Super Bowl, and now they're not winning the AFC East.
A lot has changed in the first 7 weeks of the season, Sammy. Who had on their bingo card that the top 2 teams in the AFC would be the Colts and the Patriots? That's where we're at right now.
Stick with your take.
You want me to stick with my take from 7 weeks ago before we saw a second of football played?
Stick with your take.
That's an insane thing to do. It's really an insane thing to do.
You said Bills Lions. Stick to it.
I'll be honest. I just put $50 on the Niners to win the Super Bowl.
Well,
I feel great about
donation.
it. I feel great about it. All right. We'll take a break here. When we come back,
I feel great.
We're going to reset long shots a little bit for those of you degenerates with us who want to make some money tonight. Sammy put together a great lineup. We'll let you know what it is. We will also make some picks on money lines and spreads for tonight's action, both in Major League Baseball and the NFL, and take a little peek forward on the calendar to what's coming up tomorrow. Did you know another major professional sports league gets started tomorrow? We'll tell you what, coming up next. Sammy, would you say you're a big fan of music, history of music? Yeah, you're giving me the thumbs up. I know you are, because iHeartRadio has your hookup to hear brand new music from Bon Jovi before anyone else. The iHeartRadio album preview with Bon Jovi featuring Forever, the legendary edition. Discover never before heard tracks from their new album Forever before it's officially released this Friday. You'll also hear an in-depth interview as John Bon Jovi shares the vision, the vibe, and the voice behind their new album. The only way to be part of it, this exclusive experience, is to listen live this Thursday at 7 o'clock on today's mix in the free iHeartRadio app.
Bon Jovi.
You big Bon Jovi guy?
Hell yeah, man.
His youngest son, Jesse Bon Jovi, has sat right here before.
Really?
Yeah, he has a wine that he sells called Hampton Water, which is like a rosé. He was in here slinging it on a bar cart Friday at one point, which is back, by the way.
Big bar cart.
Coming up this Friday, we got a special one planned.
Are you guys doing the whole, like, for listeners, I used to come in here and like be prepping for the show and there'd just be like bottles everywhere. It'd be like a party. Like the whole station would be in our studio. Mm-hmm. Is that what's happening over there with Rock?
Not yet.
You guys got to build it back up?
What? A lot of announcements coming.
Oh, okay.
That I can't.
Did I spoil something?
No. Of course not. I would say 101.5 KGB from 6 to 10 a.m. is the place to be. If you were listening this morning, you heard a little more of the old show we used to do and a little less of the new show. We're kind of back to normal on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
Hell yeah. Best morning show in the city right there.
I like to think so. It has nothing to do with me. It has a lot to do with...
You know why it is? Because the Sam Elon guarantee said it.
It's like Oprah.
That's exactly.
Just put that sticker on a book and all of a sudden, boom, selling everywhere.
Exactly. It's like my things I give out.
All right. Before we get out of here, I feel bad that Sammy was such a hater on Drake May.
I'm not hating on Drake May. I can't believe how disrespectful you are to Jaden Daniels.
I'd agree with that. I was a little disrespectful to Jaden Daniels. I apologize for that. He was an NFC
Drake
championship.
May's a fantastic quarterback. He's going to be great.
All right. We pull up the betting lines for tonight's action in both baseball and football. We'll get to those in just a second. I did want to say before we get out of here, how dumb that National Running Backs Day thing last night was on NBC after the game. I don't know if anyone saw any of that.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Chris Collinsworth on the broadcast was like, why the hell are we doing this? This doesn't look good. It looks like you spent 5 minutes at Michael's putting together these capes or these jackets. And then Christian McCaffrey got his and he was like, yeah, I'm never going to wear this thing ever again.
It was funny hearing Mike
one time only.
It was funny hearing Mike Tirico like try to hype it up because you could tell like they were not messing with it at all. And they were like told them to, and they're like, yeah, what even is that? What is National Running Backs Day?
Look, not that this has ever once happened in my career, but every once in a while you are told, hey, this really important thing is happening. Bon Jovi's title release party. Make sure you hype it up and get excited about it because it's really, really cool and great for the listener.
We're stoked about that.
Who cares?
Dude.
Betting lines tonight.
619 says I get offended because I talk about other teams. What do you say? Talk about any other team, then get offended when they talk bad about the Chiefs? No, I'm not just bringing up the Chiefs. I'm just saying when Fletch goes the Colts and the Patriots are the two best teams in the AFC, I have to say something.
Of course you do. Has the two best records in the AFC as of right now?
Yeah. If we're going off record, then 100%.
All right, betting lines tonight. Let's make some picks.
All right, early game, 4:00. Bucks on the road in Detroit. 6.5 point favorites. The Detroit Lions, with the point total being at 53.5.
Stay away from money line. I like the Bucks plus 6.5, and give me the over on the money line. Even though that's exactly what Vegas wants me to do, these two offenses will be popping off.
You know, I'm gonna go 27-20. Lions barely cover.
And that would be under?
That would be under. They'd be under by a touchdown.
So you just went completely opposite of me.
I went completely opposite. I think the Lions...
I like $5 on that. If it's a weird split, we push.
$5 doesn't do anything for me.
Okay, Mr. Moneybags.
No, I'm just saying like that. Let's do something else.
Okay, next game.
Texans Seahawks in Seattle. Seattle currently favored by 3.5. Point total of 41.5. Big night for Seattle fans, by the way. You got the Mariners going. You got the Seahawks going.
Yeah, Seattle wins that. It's in Seattle, right?
Yeah,
Seattle wins that by more than 3.5. So take Seattle and give me the over on the over under as well.
Okay, I'm gonna roll with you too. I'm gonna go Seattle as well. I'm gonna stick with you on that pick. I'm gonna go Seattle over. I think Houston is beating up on a couple bad teams. I think Seattle is getting disrespected in this matchup, and they are going to roll in this one.
All right, baseball.
Yeah, so it was currently pick 'em with Blue Jays being minus 115 and Mariners being minus 105. All the money is coming on Toronto. So currently the Mariners are plus 110, Toronto minus 130. That game's at 510.
This would be, I probably would not put any money on this game. Game 7s are weird. I want the Mariners to win, so I'm going to take the Mariners. And what's the total run line at? Do you have that in front of you?
7.5.
Under.
I'm not to piggyback on the pick, but I'm going Mariners. I think the Mariners have the better hitters in the series. Listen, Vlad Guerrero Jr. and George Springer are fantastic for the Blue Jays. I do think the Mariners, though, have the deeper lineup. They found something a little bit yesterday, and I think about the amount of pitchers the Blue Jays used yesterday. Josh Naylor, you got Cal Raleigh, you got Julio Rodriguez, Randy Arozarena. You got guys for Eugenio Suarez. I think they get it done in Mariners-Dodgers World Series.
Well, that's an effing show, boys. Sammy, who won those SeaWorld tickets? Do you have that in front of you?
Tony.
Tony, thank you for listening, pal. Appreciate you a lot. We'll be back tomorrow. John and Jim, I see both of their beautiful faces right now, are coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Lots more fun. More SeaWorld San Diego tickets. John and Jim, next.